Hi, guys. Welcome back to Insights from the Couch for one of our special holiday season minisodes. Excited to be here with you again today. And we are fresh off our trip, our podcast field trip to Delray Beach, Florida, where we got to be a part of our friends at the Back Nine Podcast's annual celebration for their 1-year anniversary, which was so fun, right? To have a little podcast journey.
It was so fun. It was just such a fun trip, such a departure from daily life, but so needed.
Yeah, I mean, the walk on the beach. And first of all, it was so fun to be there and meet everyone because we've been guests on the Back Nine podcast, and they have Josh and Dennis, who host that podcast, have been guests on our podcast. And they're kind of catering to men in middle life, and we're kind of catering to women in middle life, even though we both have listeners who are, the opposite sex as well. But to put faces in person to names and, what people you've met online. And then also to meet their partners was so much fun.
Yes.
They're so nice. Really, really cool women. And we got to be live, right? I didn't even know we were doing that.
I know. No, it was so different. And it's cool to meet people that you talked. It's different when you meet people in real life. Just the energies of people can be different. So I thought it was so much fun. We laughed so hard on this trip.
Okay, that was the best.
That was the best part.
First of all, I have not shared a hotel room or a hotel bed with anyone other than my husband in a long time.
Well, I feel so flattered.
I mean, we had our king bed. It was like so sleepover style. I know you did not care for my sound machine.
I rolled with it though, right?
You did.
I find that such the height of irony though, that you want a sound machine when you hate extraneous noise.
Yes, because of my but it's that kind of soothing background. It's a storm. To me, it just makes my whole nervous system at ease. But thank you for rolling with it because a lot of people are like, this thing sucks.
Yeah, luckily I was so tired. I don't think I cared.
I know. But the best was as we get home and we're just but we went to a beautiful Italian dinner. Right.
So
that was
good.
So perfect.
Delray is just an absolute gem of a place. I mean, you need to have about, 3 to 5 million to live in a townhouse there, but it is so nice. And the weather was, how perfect was the weather?
Oh my God. I mean, it was not just humid. Ugh. Yeah, I know.
And it didn't even feel like the holidays. I'm so divorced from the holiday at this point.
Can we talk about that? Because I feel the same way. So Steve is out of town right now. Before he left, he put up the tree. He took out the ornament boxes. I usually put them up and he does the very top where I can't reach. All the ornament boxes are out and they have to be put on because the house is being cleaned tomorrow. I don't even want to put ornaments on my tree.
It's so funny that you say that because my tree, I have 2 trees. I did one of them. My second big family tree that's in the family room has sat there with lights on and the ornament box is sitting there for over a week. Yeah. I can't get the energy to do it either. It's the last thing.
Me too. And I don't.
Where we are in our lives. Is that just, I wonder if that's emblematic of other people at this phase.
I know. Are you guys who are listening, are you feeling this way too? I mean, I do have friends who decorate out the yin yang and it's amazing. And I know there are people who really enjoy that. And it's not bah humbug. I don't feel like the Grinch. No. I just feel exhausted. I feel like I have a lot to do. It feels like one more task that I must do. And for who? Who is it for? I don't really give a fuck right now if there's a tree with ornaments. I'm not even going to be here. I'm leaving for New York on the 19th. Why must I do this?
Yeah. And I have a house full of kids, but nobody's invested in it. Nobody's can we help? No. Right. I had my one son said are we ever going to get the ornaments on the tree, which is code for when are you going to do it, Mom?
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
don't
see,
know.
and my kids will be home in like a week. They'll barely be around, but they'll be like, "Why haven't you put up the tree?" You know, they'll be sort of horrified that I'm neglecting my inborn mother duties by like not
Yeah.
making the house look like Christmas when they'll fly through my house grabbing something and be in and out. You know what I mean? It's just
But that's exactly what it is. It's like we have to continually hold the space of mother, even long after kids don't really want or need it, but they want you to still want to be in that space.
ugh. Okay. No, I think you're right because I'm just picturing I'm going home to New York just for a few days to see my brother and his partner and daughter and stay. We're all packing in. My kids are coming with me. We're all packing into my mom's house, and my mom will not put up a tree. You know, she doesn't move that well. So she's stopped doing that, which is totally fine. She has like a little mini tree. And
Perfect.
I don't give a shit. I'm not like asking her to hold the space of mother. I mean, I know I'm 51, but like,
What about when you were 21? Would you have cared?
yes, I would have. I
Okay,
would
there
have.
you go.
All
There's our
right.
answer. You kind of have to get to these places yourself before you're willing to give your own parents grace around this of like, oh, I get it. It's kind of a drag. Don't waste your time.
Yeah. But let's talk about how the holidays impact us because I saw a study that said as much as 90% of the population finds the holidays more stressful than joyful. And that's a lot. That means almost everyone. I do find myself, and I don't normally feel this way, but I find myself wanting to put my finger on a fast forward button, like an old fashioned tape recorder machine. And could it just be January 15th? Could it just be Martin Luther King Day?
Why? Because you just want to get through all of the like awkwardness of like not working and
Yeah. Like what? Yeah. Why is it? You know, why is it that because I don't feel that I have a lot. Well, okay, I guess the pressures of and all this stuff. It just feels like you're expected. Life sort of suspends. You have to interact a lot with family. You have to decorate, cook, eat, drink. I mean, you don't have to, but it just feels like this mini season of like forced joy that I'd rather just like reject and focus on my life.
yeah, and I'm the same. I'm a real creature of routine and habit, and then these extended trips out of routine, especially when there isn't like if there was a trip planned, maybe that would sound fun, but it's just these like endless days of like what do we do now? And it's a lot of shopping, it's a lot of eating and a lot of drinking, and it just doesn't feel very good. Doesn't feel productive. I don't love it either at this point. I love joy, I love family, but I like it in bite-sized pieces. I
Yes.
like snack-sized joy bites
Snack size joy. I love it. Like a Hershey kiss,
of
not
joy.
falling in a vat at like the Hershey, factory in Pennsylvania.
Like our dinner at Delray and then laughing our asses off like for an hour about all manner of things. Bite-sized joy. That like
Exactly.
it tastes so good, it is so good, you'll always remember it. But enforced joy that like goes on for multiple weeks where it's like you will have fun. You will enjoy yourself. You will relax.
Yes.
No.
It can create the opposite. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm getting ready. And listen, I love my family. I can't wait to see my brother. I haven't seen him in like over 2 years and I miss him, and I barely get to see his daughter. I haven't seen her since just after she's born. So all of that's wonderful. And of course, being with my daughters for a few days. But there's also the part of me, we're going to have, I don't even know how many adults, like 8 or 9 adults packed into a 4-bedroom house, a little child, their dog is coming. I will not be able to be in my room that I do very much still consider my room. You've seen pictures
Oh,
of my high school
your
bedroom that
Laura
has not,
Ashley bedroom.
yes, my Laura Ashley bedroom that has not been redecorated since
I
like
love that.
1987. Yes. And I love it. Like that room feels like home to me more than
I bet.
anything.
I bet.
Yeah. I've been sleeping in that room since I'm 7.
Ah,
So, and I go up to New York a lot, as you know. So it really does still feel like my house. So, And then, you know, from traveling with me, I need like my sounds. I like need my I mean, I think at this age, it's hard to be sleeping on an air mattress. My daughters are so close, but they also fight like, you know, female prison inmates. Literally. And it's a lot of women with strong personalities,
Yeah.
myself included.
Like there
So
will be conflict.
oh, it's a given. And I'm probably going to be sleeping on like a couch or an air mattress in the de facto living room with like a dog running around jumping on me that isn't mine. And then I'm going to be shelling out money because my children breathe and it's expensive, especially in New York.
Yes. Oh, the shopping.
Yeah,
I've shed so, like we talked about this in the last one, like so many of the holiday rituals, but
I know.
it's still
I know.
so much
I know.
gift giving
I know.
and
I
oh
know. So, okay, a friend of mine was posting stuff about why it's so important to still give your spouse a present, like not take your spouse off the list. We do not do this. We're going on a trip in March, and I was like, don't buy me anything. First of all, I don't need some like thing. I can't think of one thing I want. If someone were going to give me a gift, what I really want is like, make my life feel more relaxing somehow. That's all I want. Do you guys do gifts? Do you think that's important?
okay, so this is how it goes. This is every year. We always do for the kids. I do for the kids. This year I announced to them because they're all older. I've got 22, 18, almost 17. So, and they all need money, right? Like that's just the way it is. And I kill myself doing gifts. Like when I give my kids
Yep.
gifts, I like to really think about what I want to get them.
Yeah.
This year, I'm like, I'm not doing that. I said, I'm
That's how
getting
I
you
feel.
like stocking stuffers and you're getting money because you all
Yeah.
need money.
Yep.
And and then if you want to buy yourself something or you want to save it all, that's on you. I already
Yep.
announced that. That's what's happening. But here's what we do. And that's smart, right? That feels good.
Yeah.
But between Joe and I, and my mom especially, my mom does this thing every year where she goes, my mom is a gifts person. She loves her some gifts. And so she will say, are we doing gifts this year? And I'll say, I don't need gifts. And she's like, oh, thank God. I don't need gifts either. Then she shows up and
With
she
gifts.
hits Park Avenue. And she's like, oh, I got you. Like, I got you something. I got you a few things. Like, I couldn't help myself. And then, of course, she definitely wants me to get her a few things because Christmas morning, she's going to feel crestfallen. So then I have to scramble to get her a few things.
Yeah.
And it just goes on like that. Joe and I don't think we're okay if we don't get anything, but there's always like usually like a last minute something.
That's what Steve and I end up doing too. But then I hate it because I feel like this is what starts to happen. Every year I'm like, I'm simplifying this. My kids are in their 20s, right? Neither Steve nor I are really like gifty people. Like I genuinely am not upset. Like I don't need a gift.
Yeah.
At all. It doesn't mean anything to me. And I think it's nice to have this thoughtfulness concept, but I can't think of one thing he could get me that I would be like, he could like write me a card or something, or, you know, making me a mixtape, which I know doesn't exist, or like a playlist, or writing me something. Those are the only things I really want at this point, or some kind of travel. So, you know, I just don't, there's nothing I need. I got my mom a pair of slippers she wanted, getting my dad a book. My parents split a suitcase I wanted for my Italy trip.
Nice.
That I asked for. So that's lovely. I just find the gifting like every year with my girls, I'm always like, you really probably just want money because anything I pick for them, they're not happy with.
Have you
Or
seen
it's
this
like,
thing where like a bunch of like young women or teenagers or, you know, they will like send their mother, like they'll register. They'll send like a list, like an Amazon list.
oh my God. I mean,
Have you
okay.
seen that?
No, but I would actually love that. If you tell me what to get you that you want, I'm happy to do it. Like, I'm happy. I'm going to get something for my girls. I usually end up giving them money, But then what ends up happening is we're in New York and then they see something while we're out and about and they're like, could this be my Christmas gift?
Yeah.
So it just ends up like proliferating. I don't know. This also sounds so like first world problems, play the fucking violin. You know, it's part of the grind. This is the way it goes. I think what I'm realizing is that for me, this year has been a lot. It's been a lot of busyness, a lot of output, working really, really hard. And right now I'm in a little bit of a grind with all of my projects where like, not that I'm not excited about them big picture, but everything's feeling really hard and a little bumpy. And I was saying to a friend the other day, I just don't feel like there's any dopamine right now. Nothing's feeling super like, oh, I did this and that feels great. And so it just feels like it would just be nice. Probably what it is also is I haven't really been on a vacation or taken a vacation. I think I'm just a little burned out. I think that's really the truth as we're talking about this.
Is that what would feel good for the holiday, is if you knew you could like jet off somewhere and it was just going to be like 100% relaxation?
You know what would feel good? Because I'm not even like that great at sitting around. What would feel really good is if I could go somewhere, if I knew on like December 22nd, I was getting on a plane. I'm not sure who's on the plane with me, to be honest. Am I by myself? Is it just my husband? Is it my husband and kid? Like how many family members or friends? But whatever the scenario is, I get on a plane. I'm going to go somewhere where I can relax and explore.
Yes.
You know, so I don't want to just be at like an all-inclusive beach resort. I want to be somewhere where I could go wander around and discover things. I want not to have to spend my own money. Like someone fantasy person is paying for this trip and there's no pressure and there's some kind of mind magic trick that happens where I forget all the stressful things that will be facing me in January and I'm just like at peace. I want the mental load to be removed.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds amazing. And like,
Doesn't it?
some novelty, like when you travel and you like discover new places and you find like a little bookstore or you see something that you've like read about and it just, it inspires you, like that process.
Exactly. And we know our brains need novelty. There's something that comes from newness that really reinvigorates relationships, but refreshes your soul, a new atmosphere, a new environment. You get into a place of curiosity and you tend to get some distance from your stressors, not always, but a lot of times, and a little bit of a different perspective.
Yep. Yeah.
So being that this magical solution isn't happening, what are you seeing clients like feeling stressed about the holidays or?
Yeah, I mean, I think as we get closer, there are more conversations about that, but that's not the bulk of the work I'm seeing right now. So I'll let you know in a week if people are starting to feel that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. How about you? Are you seeing a lot of people?
No.
No.
I think that people who are in here working on couples therapy, like Christmas is the last fucking worry they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part. And you know what? Me too. Like, let me also give that perspective that we're sitting here talking about the holidays. I just had breakfast with my friend from Tulane, Becca. She's here for her son is this really talented golfer, and he got invited into this golf tournament.
Cool.
And I think he came in 9th place. Yeah, he's only 16. They live in Maine. Yeah. So it's a real treat that she came up to Baldwin to meet me for breakfast. And we really got some good quality one-on-one time. I last saw her when we went to London together for a girls' trip for my friend Vanessa's 50th birthday about a year and a half ago. So it was really, or I guess a year ago, just over a year ago. Anyway, it was really fun to do that. But as we're sitting there outdoors having breakfast, and it's beautiful here, it's kind of cool Florida wise, but gorgeous, right? She said something. I said, oh, this is what's funny about it. I said, oh, have you had snow yet? Because she lives in Maine. She's like, yeah, I'll show you a picture. And then I was like, wow, you already have snow? She's like, yeah, it's December. This is late for us. I'm like, oh my God, it's
They have
December.
snow in October.
Right. But what's crazy, because especially we live in Florida, I am so, like you said, divorce. I keep forgetting. I don't know if it's February, October, June. Like the holidays are sort of like a pain in the ass that I just want to get through.
Yeah. I'm in the same place. I mean, the whole like Winter Park Christmas parade happened, the whole tree lighting.
Yep.
And I
Here
just find
too. Here
myself
last night.
annoyed. Yeah. Did you go? Did you go to the Baldwin
No.
thing?
So I didn't go. And then last night, a friend of mine, my friend Jen, who also lives here in my neighborhood, was the big Baldwin tree thing, which is
Yeah.
so fun. And yesterday, okay, maybe this is something that's helpful. You tell me what you think. I don't know. Yesterday, I was going to have a productive day. I was going to like take my morning slow, and then I was just going to like ease into getting some work done. Steve's away. I'm by myself. I went for a long walk, which was good, but I ended up laying around, like getting into like yoga pants, pajama kind of clothes. I watched the entire half a season of The Ultimatum on Netflix. Do you know about it?
No, I don't watch a lot of stuff on TV.
Oh my God, was so good. I got so engrossed. It's a relationship show, so I like the dynamics. It's basically couples where one has given the other an ultimatum about getting married, and the other one is unsure for a variety of
So it's
reasons.
like a reality show.
Oh, it is a reality show with Nick Lachey and Nick and Vanessa Lachey as the co-hosts. They kind of annoy me. I feel like Vanessa is always doing this like faux empathy that feels so insincere. But that part aside, they switch. They have a week to date. There's like 6 couples. They have a week to like go on mini dates with the partners from the other couples, and then they pick someone else to have like a faux 3-week marriage to see if there's what.
I can't stand shows like that.
But have you ever watched a show like that?
I've watched like I can't sit through The Bachelor. I can't sit through The
Okay, but The
Bachelorette.
Bachelor
I hate that shit. What is it like? It
Why?
makes me
Why?
cringe. I find it so like I get like such secondhand embarrassment. I don't feel like the connections are deep or real. I think it's all like staged and stilted. I feel like I can't watch. I'm always like, ugh, this doesn't feel right. I
Okay,
don't know. I
well,
mean, maybe that's an unpopular opinion. They're obviously like super,
no.
super popular shows. I can't enjoy shows like that. I don't know why.
So I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. I think some of the reality TV I like, it would be very easy to be like, what the fuck's wrong with you, Colette, that you want to watch that. But I accept that some of it's scripted, certainly. And even in the, like, I think Bachelor and Bachelorette are more fakey. And I'm probably only watching those shows because I've been watching them since the beginning. So there's just like a habit and familiarity. But the ultimatum, what happens is it's so not healthy for people and exploitative, but you're taking people and putting them into a situation that's really psychologically hazardous for their attachment system. And you can see people really decompensating. Like one guy is the one giving the ultimatum. He's 10 years older than his girlfriend. She's like stunningly beautiful, but you get the sense she's maybe just not quite that into him. And she really clicks with this other guy who's like a personal trainer and super fit. And they couple up, and the boyfriend, who's this artist, kind of sensitive guy, couples up with this girl he clicks with, but he's really in love with his fiance. And the girl he coupled up with leaves, so he's alone. And his girlfriend is across the apartment thing, sleeping in the same bed with this ripped dude that she's totally vibing with. And he is sobbing and melting down. He breaks down and goes and bangs on the door of her apartment, and she won't come out. She blocks him. I mean, it's really, it's fucked up, but I find it interesting to see the dynamics unfolding.
My nervous system can't watch that. Like even my daughter's like really into Love Island.
Oh, I
And
love
she's like,
Love Island.
oh my God, I hate it.
I love
hate
it.
it. those poor people, like when they get off the boat and then like, what is it? The girl, does the guy has to pick a girl, right? Or does the girl pick a guy? I can't
Well,
remember.
they mix it up a little. They
But it's
mix it up a little.
excruciating. There's
I
always
think
like a
mostly
poor
the girls.
little, there's
I
always
know.
like someone who's like stuck off on their own, like nobody wants. It's
I
just,
know.
oh, I can't take it.
I know. And, we're also wired as human beings, of course, to greatly fear rejection and abandonment. And these shows basically exploit rejection and abandonment and how you spiral in the face of that for entertainment. And listen, I'm the asshole who's watching. Okay. So but this
You're
is
not
what
the only one.
this is what I spent my day doing. I watched the entire first half of the season. I did get a little sunshine and walk. Then I read books. I listened to music. I did nothing. I couldn't even put the ornaments on the tree. I
That sounds
vegetated in
perfect,
my
though.
bed.
That sounds absolutely perfect. That is what you need when you feel burnout, is you need to just wander and follow your own curiosity and desires and do that. I have to do that every once in a while too. I mean, mine doesn't involve
TV.
Love Island or whatever, but it's the same.
You're
It's the
so
same process.
highbrow, Laura.
Oh, I'm so refined.
I'm so in the
I just
gutter.
sit with my puzzle and my HGTV and I watch Love It or List It.
Oh my God.
And that's as much stimulation as I can handle.
No interest in that.
See, I love it. I love it.
Give a fuck. I could live in a cardboard box. I just don't care.
Oh, you don't
about
care.
that.
Okay. Okay. So this brings me to another thing we were talking about when we were walking in Delray. We were talking about, Cheryl Strayed in her book, Tiny Beautiful Things, says that she has this whole like passage about the sister ship that didn't carry you, meaning like the dreams you had that you never took, like the ghost ship that's out there.
Right.
And so we were talking about careers that we never did, but that we wished we had done. And what are the different things, or even we were also talking about like the high-low versions of our dreams.
Yeah. Like if we weren't therapists, what would we be? And like, I wonder, what you guys listening, if you're not what you were, what would you have become?
Yes.
So what was yours?
It's so interesting because it all like sort of orients around like the arts. And I said I'd work at Sotheby's or I'd work at a museum like the Smithsonian or the Met, and I'd be in charge of something really super random, like 17th century, like fine furniture. And then I'd be like this insufferable expert, and I'd probably go antiquing through like the Northeast, and I'd be like, do you know what this is? This is a Chippendale da 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 da. And I don't know why, but I've always been like obsessed with antiquity and like just homes and cultivate like things. And I never did those things. I don't know why. I think it was because I thought that was like, I think there was a part of me that judged it as sort of superficial and frivolous. And I felt like I needed to do like something more serious.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's part of what it was. I have kind of like an artist and a scientist in me that sort of battle for dominance.
Yeah, I relate to that.
But so when I was saying that, like if none of that worked out, I would just go be like a character actor in like Williamsburg, working at the apothecary.
Cracks me up. Right. That's like the low level version. So yeah, this is the path not taken. And I could so see it for you, knowing you and the way your interests align. But it's really interesting to think about what could your alternative path have been where like you felt fulfilled and you felt alive in your job. And for me, it would really be having a role on TV. Like in my ideal, I would be a talk show host because I could still tap into my curiosity, my insatiable curiosity about people and be connecting with people. Or I was joking with you a little that, I love crime. I love dark. I love psychological darkness. I know it's a meme to make fun of middle-aged women who are into the murder shows, but I'm one of them. I am that cliche. I cannot get enough Dateline, 48 Hours, true crime documentary. I love it. Only when they're well done. But when you have a case that shows a psychologically complex character who's done some kind of really interesting murder and maybe gotten away with it, or the motive isn't clear, my brain experiences the most engagement and joy like possible.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not alone, but what I think would have been a great alternate job for me if I were not a therapist would be specifically to have Andrea Canning's job on Dateline. She's this like blonde. I feel like her face never moves. I don't know. I almost don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully she's not listening to the podcast. I just kind of don't. She must know someone. Like, why does she have the job? I don't feel like she does a good job. I feel like I could do a better job. And I feel like I would literally show up to work every day. Like I will pay you to let me do this job.
Yes.
Now my low level version, if I couldn't be at like the peak, would be that I work in an independent bookstore and I do a lot of engaging with people and I put on a lot of events and I spend my day talking to people and perusing and enjoying and celebrating books.
I love that too.
Right? So before we wrap up, let's talk about what we're reading. Tell me what are you reading right now and any recommendations you have for everyone?
Well, right now I haven't read a ton. I have read a lot of stuff for work, so it's kind of boring. But the 3 books that I've engaged with recently is I read Malcolm Gladwell's The Revenge of the Tipping Point, which I love. If you like Malcolm Gladwell, if you like that sort of social science-y nonfiction.
I heard it was like the same thing repackaged. You didn't find that?
It's not. Okay. I always get something out of his take. I mean, he definitely spins the narrative the way he wants to spin it, but I get a ton of.
What did you get out of the book? Like, give a distillation.
Like, it's talking about what happens, like the deleterious side of the tipping point. The first tipping point was like how products tip or ideas tip. In this book, he's really talking about how things kind of tip in the opposite direction, like how Miami became, the crime capital of the world, or like how, like Florida is like this Medicaid
toilet
capital.
bowl.
Yeah. Like how we create stories and how places shape the way you do things, or how few people really drove the opioid, crisis into the ground.
Okay.
And he shows you how easy it is for a dynamic to tip in a negative and deleterious direction.
Gotcha.
That's what it is.
Like there's a sweet spot and then it can crest over the edge into something really destructive.
It doesn't even take much for something to go in a really bad direction.
We're there. I mean, look at this whole murder of the United Healthcare CEO and the way people are celebrating it en masse. Right? This guy disappears, has the balls to shoot him in the New York streets in front of all these other people, and then takes off, can't be found, leaves this backpack filled with Monopoly money and bullets.
Like what? I mean, this was so well planned, right? When you're etching, words on the bullet.
Onto the bullets. Deny, delay, depose.
Defend.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they were.
Yeah, me neither, but they were bad.
But this is what clearly someone who's been so injured and wronged by this system.
Or because I'm kind of obsessed with this case, this is exactly the sort of thing I love. Not because, first of all, there's a real reason there's so much fomented anger toward these executives. Yeah. These companies are denying people coverage and medications and then getting rich off of it. Now, I think there's another side to the story, which is that government regulation is probably a lot more to blame in some ways than even these companies. But regardless of the issue, it's also, is this guy a disgruntled person whose loved one died because of a UnitedHealthcare decline in coverage? Or is this an elaborate ruse to make that look like the motive?
I know. I thought about that too.
And maybe like someone closer.
Like an inside job or something.
Yeah, some inside job in the industry. He's separated from his wife. I mean, obviously,
is he really?
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not trying to like go on air and speculate that his wife's a murderer, but you just don't know.
No, you
Because
never know.
and it's so on the nose, right? It's so on the nose, everything. And lest I go down a total rabbit hole, which I guess I already am on this case, how did he know where this executive, Brian Thompson, I think is his name, was there for like a United conference, but he wasn't staying, he was staying across the street.
Like, how did he know all that?
How did he know when this guy would be walking? How did he know where he was staying? It's just.
What do you feel like it's the wife's lover or something? Like it wouldn't knock you off your chair, is what you're saying.
I mean, I think it's like very hard to understand how this random dude was able to get this information as a lone wolf. And it seems like a very organized, experienced planning.
Yeah. He was in New York for like 10 days.
Yeah. Staying at this hostel, wearing his mask. I mean, it's just fascinating. And it is fascinating from a sociological perspective, how people have responded. Like you can really feel the energy of like the French Revolution, where people are so fed up with the uber rich and how disenfranchised everybody else feels and impoverished. And people have like had it. I mean,
yeah, you can't pull on a system the way, you know, people like, even when, like I said, when we were in Delray, you couldn't get a shithole.
Remember when I found my little place?
Yeah, I thought, oh, this one will be affordable. It was like, how many square feet was it, Colette?
It was 500 square feet.
For
it was
how much a month?
It was the cutest little house that's filled with tiny apartments. Okay, it's nothing bougie. You'd have to be willing to live in something old. It wasn't right on the beach, but it just was like charming in a way I like. Tahiti Cove in Delray Beach.
Cove, yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, I could see having like a little condo here and just being able to like come chill and like write. And I looked up, there was a place for rent. It was $7,500 a month for a 5 bed. I mean, of course, this won't be like surprising to anyone living in like LA or New York, but it's South Florida's gotten so expensive. And when you look at the pictures on Zillow, the place was so ugly inside. I mean, it wasn't remotely updated. The furniture was disgusting.
It was 550 square feet. Like you can't even like turn around. And they wanted $7,500 a month.
Yeah. Which as
who's
ridiculous.
I mean, okay. I mean, I guess some people have that money because they're there, but I think that we are really at this inflection point as a society.
A tipping point.
A real tipping point of just, it is not cool anymore for all of these billionaires to do their thing at the expense of normal people.
Especially denying a child medication, a child with cancer. I mean, fuck off.
Oh my gosh.
So it does, I think that's one more thing, like before we get off, just the way everything feels really I feel like society is crackling with intensity. I feel like people are angry. The election was not good. It was not healthy, regardless of how you feel about the outcome. The process of politics, the estrangement in families over politics. People are ending friendships. They don't want to talk with people on the other side. You know, there's so much unrest in the world. It just feels like there's a lot of anger bubbling, not even beneath, but like right at the surface.
I feel it too.
Yeah. So
we're at an inflection point somehow, and we'll have to see where it goes, but it doesn't feel good.
No. But on the bright side, let's end on a bright note. What's the bright side? The bright side is we're alive and breathing. It's another day. And there's much to be grateful for. And that is the truest mental health thing ever, that focusing some attention on what's going well in your life is so important for your mindset, because there's always something negative and our brains are wired to hyper focus on the negative because of evolution and, you know, the survival imperative, but it doesn't really serve us day to day for our mental health. So one thing I'm doing right now is I do that little 5-minute journal where I write a few things every morning that I'm grateful for. I've been doing it a long time. I write a couple of affirmations, like positive statements about myself, like I believe in myself and my capabilities. I know who I am. I have everything I need inside myself, whatever. It's tempting to dismiss that as like, Pollyanna poofy positivity, but it's not. It helps your brain go, I'm good. I'm okay. There's a lot that's going well in my life. Yeah. I think that downtime, sleep, exercise, fresh air, like those things, we got to carry those through the holidays.
Watching, what was the show called?
The Ultimatum.
Watching The Ultimatum for hours on end. I don't think any of that's bad in moderation. I think a little bit of just letting yourself go and letting yourself have a day and finding some bite-sized joy and looking around and going, I have a lot of the things that I care about.
Yeah. I mean, technically, the word of the year this year is brain rot, the Merriam-Webster or Oxford Dictionary word of the year, where you just kind of consume bullshit online. You're not really reading anything. You're not really learning anything. And the brain just kind of rots. I think technically watching 6 hours of The Ultimatum is probably classified as brain rot, but I also think I'm not doing that every day. I'm doing a lot of intellectually stimulating things.
Yeah.
So giving myself permission to be in my PJs, sitting in my bed, like I brought my lunch into my bedroom and curled up and like ate it in bed. Maybe it was just listening.
There needs to be a ratio between, like I've seen a couple good movies. I plan to see a couple more good movies in the holiday season. That's one of the fun things I'm trying to do because I need that. I need to see quality stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm reading a couple more quality things. And then you can have your little ratio, your little like dabble into brain rot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, then it doesn't feel too bad.
I like you. I like it. Thank you,
5
Laura.
to 1. 5 to 1.
Yeah. I agree. And I'm looking forward to the same thing. So we can talk about this more next week too, like reading, movies. I want to talk more about that. Let's talk. We talked today about a lot of like heavy, hard parts. Let's talk about some fun, joyful things next week.
Yeah, let's go joy chasing next week.
Amazing. I love it. Let's do that.
And holiday let's think about joy for the middle-aged woman that doesn't involve giving and doing and busying and
pressure. Yes. Pressure. Since my magical vacation where someone else pays, everyone leaves me alone and I get to roam and explore isn't happening anytime soon.
No, not anytime soon, but it will happen.
Yes. All right. So I will see you soon. We'll be back next week. Thanks everyone for listening and hope your holiday season is going well and as stress-free as possible. We'll see you next time on Insights from the Couch.
Bye.
Bye.